Hello everyone, this is Rashmi Bhandary and today I am going to answer this question which many students often ask as to if I don't have an aggregate, if my 10th mark is little less or my 12th mark is less, or if I have a year gap, or if my engineering mark is not good, or if I have a backlog, then what should I do? So this is quite a serious thing because if you do not have your minimum eligibility criteria, you're not actually eligible for most companies because the usual criteria for almost all the companies is 60% in 10th, 12th and engineering, alright, or up to the 7th semester, whichever semester is there, and no current backlog. Now what do you do if your 10th mark is not up to the mark, and or if your 12th mark is not there, there's a dip somewhere and you do not have the required aggregate? Then what you have to do is to inform this to your placement officer right away that you do not have this mark, and so if they could help you out with not the mass recruiters or the tech giants, because they are very stringent with their percentage criteria and so they do not budge. But then there are a lot of other companies which visit the campus, and there are a lot of startups, there are a lot of mid-sized companies, there are a lot of small companies and various companies which are flexible with the eligibility criteria, but that doesn't mean that they will reduce it for everyone. So if you feel that you are not having the required eligibility criteria, please meet your placement officer and tell them right in the beginning that this is the problem, and your marks are not there in whichever 10th, 12th or engineering, and if there is a company which is coming with a certain criteria and if you do not make it, is it possible for them to request? This is what I want to share, that many times I have done this n number of times. I've done it for my students, I've done it for students from other colleges. We tell them if it is, leave out the tech giants because that is pan-India, so they can't reduce the criteria here and there. But for other companies, and which is actually 80% of the companies, this can be done. So all that. But then the students should inform the placement officer, because otherwise how do they know which student? Because a lot of students fall in that criteria. So whoever comes and approaches, what do? We go and ask the company that this is a student, maybe if we have 5 students or 10 students, we go and request the company that the student is there, and maybe and also you should make it up. It's not that your marks are less and you're technically also not good. So if you are good, then definitely the placement department will request the company in case they can actually give you a chance to write. Alright, so many times this happens, and companies are not really very fixed with this eligibility criteria. So many times they reduce the criteria, they say okay fine, let them write and let us see how they perform. So there you should not let down the college or the company. So they have given you this opportunity, so when you get the aptitude, please do well and do very well in your technical and all that. In fact, you may have to do a little bit extra than the others because you are not eligible but still you are allowed to write. And one more thing is, don't ever try to cheat and say okay I will write even though I don't have this eligibility criteria, because who comes to know? No one will come to know, and maybe at the time of the interview then I can tell it and then I can sort it out. Don't do that, because then you will be blacklisted, and that's a very negative thing for any student to get into, and it also brings down the college reputation. So please be very honest, and so what you have to do is to just inform the placement department or your placement officer that this is the problem, and if there is any company which is mid-sized, and will they request the company on their behalf, and I'm sure every college placement department would be glad to do that. So all that you have to do is to maintain a good rapport and just put this across. So I hope this helps, and wishing you all the very best till we meet again.